GMPradio.net, man. You already know it's your boy Uncle P. We are live from the Reworld. Yeah, Reworld Studios at the Cultivating Mature Positivity studio. I don't know how that works. It's 2 studios. But we're doing it, man. We are live. This is your boy Uncle P. And right now we're going to talk about Wear Orange, the 2025. Wear Orange Peace Walk. Now I know it's to save the date up there. I posted it earlier on the page. But we're going to talk to the people over at Chester Community Coalition, and we're going to figure out why this walk is so important for our community, for our future, for our children. Right now I have 2 guests who are firmly planted at the table. I got Kyra and Quan. How you doing?
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Huh? You supposed to? Woo! I'm doing great, Pierre.
We here. We ready to
right,
go. We
come
ready to talk about the
on.
2025 4th annual Wear Orange
Yes, let's
Peace
go.
Walk
Go
and
ahead.
Block Party.
Right. You over there acting all shy, man. We family, ain't we?
Yeah, we was just in the cut like a Band-Aid for a minute while I was getting set up. So we in there.
Definitely in there, man. So we want to talk about why the Peace Walk, right? What was the idea behind the Peace Walk? The original idea, like who came up with it?
Right. So we can't take credit for this concept of a Wear Orange Day or Wear Orange Peace Walk. It's actually a national movement. There was a young black girl that presented to President Barack Obama's inauguration, and a week after his inauguration, she was killed in a Chicago park. Her name is Hadia, and out of her death came the Wear Orange movement. And the conversation was around likening these warlike zones in some of our cities across America to basically hunting down black and brown people. And so this theme of wearing orange, the bright color associated with hunting, it's a really stark reality and it really sounds dark, but the beauty about it is the goal in bringing community together to discuss National Gun Violence Awareness Day, which is always the first Saturday in June, which is when we organize the Wear Orange Peace Walk. So that is how we came about to bring the event annually to Chester.
Right. So when we think about Chester, we think about heart, we think about grit, we think about tenacity, right? Resilience, right? We can go on and on about the great things we think about when we think about Chester, but a lot of other people think about other things when they think about Chester. They think about violence, trauma. Speak to how Chester Community Coalition is helping, Chester residents identify their traumas and work to make their lives a little bit better.
So if you're viewing and you're not familiar, Chester Community Coalition is an organization that supports families who've been impacted by gun violence or stabbings. And we have a few different programs. We started out a bit smaller. If you've seen us come into the radio station before, we've talked about our startup, which was group therapy for families who had lost folks to gun violence. And then after the pandemic, like many other organizations, we had to shift. And it was for the better. We started to offer individual therapy, case management, peer support, which is what Quan does with the organization. And out of that, trainings for staff, local organizations. And what we really like to do is just offer a space for folks to get regulated. We're overly exposed to things like many communities that are marginalized, but specifically community violence. And I think overall, if I was to put it in a statement, what we do is support with emotional regulation. And for me, that's crime prevention. We're talking about ingrained in black folks is generational and historical trauma.
Yes.
So we don't just get away from that by a generation of degrees or a generation of moving out of the city. But these services are about emotional regulation and support to sort of reframe what it means to be living instead of just surviving. And so that is our goal out here in the city of Chester in Delaware County.
Yesterday, I'm getting a little personal real quick. Yesterday, I said something on somebody's post, and I mentioned therapy, and he said therapy is for women, right? And I get it. He's who he is, right? And I was just trying to figure out like how can that be, right? Because he was like therapy is for women. Men just deal with things and just keep on moving. I'm like, no, that's the old way of doing things, and that's how I was at first. I'm not going to therapy. Therapy is for women. But then when I went and realized how much shit I had on my shoulder, how much pain I was carrying, how much anger was really hurt, right? And it wasn't about blaming anybody. It was really about just folding up the clothes and putting them away, right? You can know something hurts you, but you don't have to just throw it on your floor, right? So it was covering my dream, right? And then once I figured that out, I wouldn't be here at the radio station currently if I didn't go to therapy.
And
That's
thank
clear
you for
cut for
always
me.
speaking so openly about that
Right.
from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Even while you were in it, trying to explore what it meant for you.
I'm still in it.
Listen, it's a lifelong thing.
Right.
Healing is a lifelong journey.
I be trying to tell people, bro, like, you think I don't got it all together?
Something happened right now and making me an appointment.
I call my therapist. We have a nice half an hour phone call. He's like, Pierre, listen, I need you to calm down. You feel me? Like, you remember what we talked about in the beginning, right? Like, who are you? And what do you want to see? Because you can spaz out and be mad and get flustered
Sure.
and mess some things up and never.
And everything's still going to be right.
But you got to.
Yeah, how it was. I just want to say sorry to that man.
What man?
That whose post that was that you commented on and said.
Yeah, I was just messing with him, but he.
But I also want to ask Quan to kind of talk about what it's like as a peer specialist to talk to young men about considering therapy and what your thoughts are on that.
Well, for me, me doing this and doing the work, for me, I took it as like a calling for me. I've been a victim of GSW before myself, so for me, it's being in the hospital and me being in the hospital at the time when it happened to me, I felt like only person that was really to help me or be beside my side at the time was just my mom, because I didn't know anything about the coalition or anything like that. So I don't actually it probably not wasn't even around at the time. So for me to start doing it, it felt like a void I was feeling for people that I could have had, or somebody just to tell me like, yo, everything is gonna be on fire, or things could change for me. Because at that time, for people that don't know, sometimes when you going through something like that, it can feel like the end of the world. You feel me? Because ain't nobody going through it but you. So the world don't stop. Everything keep on going, but you the person that's sitting there going through it. So for me, doing it, just being there for people, just being at their side, and being able to say I helped somebody, or people to feel like I helped them, it's a good feeling. And it's also something that, like, I always tell the team, like, it's something that, like, I love doing. If I could do it for free, I would. But everybody got things to do. So,
Right.
But that's the thing about it. So it's just it's just about the work, and like the young men that we work with or that I've been around, trying to influence them on making better decisions. Because a lot of times we see people go down the same road, and I've been around for a little minute now, so I done seen people take the wrong road or make these decisions that lead them to places they can't come back from. Before I was doing this, I was a correctional officer, and I'm from the city of Chester.
Okay.
So imagine like you going to work and you seeing your friends in there, people that you grew up with. You feel me? They know you. You show love, but I can't do much for you in here. So
over for you.
Those is things that I think about when it comes to trying to prevent young men that I know that I can see going that way. But like, yo, I can pull you over here real fast. Like, yo, because there's a lot of times I feel like young men, they look at people that are around the ages of 25 to 27, because I'm still close to their age, so I can probably still talk to you. I can probably still get a hand on you.
You inching just a little bit away from it.
Oh,
You
well.
almost old head, but
Well,
you still in it.
yeah.
You still
But
gotta
I can still, they still like, and I can talk and I can relate, and I tell them I'm not too far off. So it's something that conversation that we can have, and we can try to get down to the bottom of it instead of like find different ways to do things.
And what I hope people heard from what you just said was that we're talking to people while they're in it. You don't have to be better. You don't have to be at a place where you've decided. I don't know if I already mentioned this, but my role at the organization is a trauma therapist, and Quan is a peer support intervention specialist. And I've sat down with folks and been like, okay, so you want your lick back? Let's talk about the pros and cons. Like you don't have to be well or ready to change or ready to turn a new leaf to be in this space. This space is about being able to process so that you're able to regulate yourself in those moments where you like, do I do it or don't I? And I've had clients that have went back to jail, and I'm like, they ain't no show. They didn't no show for 2 weeks now. I got called their emergency contact, and they done got booked. They were in it though. They were trying. And then there's some folks that are like, I was just on the phone, like ready to tell them to go ahead and get that done. But you had me think about it. Right. Or just even a visit from y'all, not you as a person, but the things that we talked about, the space that we offer. And I'm always thankful because it's always a learning experience and very, very, very humbling. But I just want people to know that you don't have to be in a position of change or at the point of being ready for change to even engage with us.
Right. I mean, that's real. I mean, a lot of people think, you gotta want something, or you gotta want change before it's shown to you. I believe you don't have to want change. You just gotta want something else.
Something.
Right? Something. Whether it's your son, whether it's your daughter, whether it's your mother, whether you just want to be here to see your brother graduate high school, right? It has to be something more than the street.
I always say like, I feel like people need like a North Star, something to look to in life.
Yes.
Something that's going to guide you to make you want to go do something.
Yes.
And I feel like sometimes people get lost or they try to either lose their North Star or they following someone else's. And when you following someone else's, it sometimes leads you on the path that you don't want to.
You ain't supposed to be on that path.
Mm-hmm. So that's something that I've been thinking about for a minute.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times you catch kids or you catch people just like they latching on to something that don't love you. And you looking for the love, but it ain't there.
It ain't there.
So
that was me looking for the love, but it wasn't there. I remember the last time I went to jail, I said, I'm not coming back up here, but I'm still not going to therapy. And I went through a lot to get to that point where I said, you know what, I gotta go. But when I got in there, everything that I was saying before, I want to be on radio. I'm gonna go to Connecticut School of Broadcast, and I'm gonna do that. Was my North Star. I just ran from it. I ran from it because I wanted money. I ran from it because I wanted notoriety. I ran from it because I wanted fear. I ran from it because I wanted just to be able to do things. So you got to hunker down on that. And if someone puts it in front of you, bro, like it is what it is. But can you say it? This is what I want to do. I want to be an accountant. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a police officer. Because that's probably where a majority of these kids are lost because they only know two things. A drug dealer or a robber. Those are the two people that make money. Oh, but there's so many other. You could work for local 413. You could become a plumber. You could become a carpenter. You could do a lot of things with your hands. You could be the first person that create an app that lets you post on that's what I need, on every site. Right?
Simultaneously. We need and they're brilliant. Some of the things that I see them doing, even on social media, I'm like, we could be putting that energy into so many other places. But be clear between what both of y'all were saying. Everybody that's wondering is not lost.
No, they're not.
And they might just be following somebody else's North Star.
That's real. I was following a lot of people's North Stars, just trying to be cool. But I realized that when I came home, I was like, no, I'm going to do my thing. Right? I'm going to do my thing my way. Right? So let's talk more about the Wear Orange Peace Walk, man. Where are we walking from?
9th and Curlin.
9th and Curlin.
It's the meetup spot. Okay. Around 9:30. We'll be walking up 7th Street, leaving 9th and Curlin at 10, walking up 7th Street to the park. It's about like a 25, 30-minute walk, mostly because we stop at intersections. We're engaging neighborhoods. One of the things that Quan works on with the organization is our mapping. So one of the things that we do is map all of the violent events that happen in the city of Chester, even if it's just shots fired. And so along 7th Street, if you're on that route, we stop and talk to some of those intersections where some of these events happen, and we talk to them just about being there and being able to support, and also being able to encourage them to shift the narrative for their neighborhood, to shift the way that their neighbors engage with each other, our neighbors engage with each other, and we make our way down to MLK Park, which is behind the Crozier Library and next to not MLK Park, Memorial Park. And we're there, live music, free water ice, games, free food, resources. And when I say resources, just means things that are local to our community that can help. A lot of folks say there's not enough out there, and there is. And there's still more funding available for folks to keep doing things in order to give our kids a space to exist in. And so we'll be there on the 7th from 10 to 1:30ish. And we hope that y'all come out. The goal behind this is just to remind folks that the community never left. Those block party vibes, for me, those Booth Street block party vibes. But if you're from anywhere else in the city, I'm sure you've had a block party that's memorable. And that's just the vibes that we want to bring back. We want folks to feel community again. We want folks to be able to lift up the life of their loved one that they may have lost. So if you have cutouts, if you have T-shirts, if you have any memorials, memorabilia or placards, we want you to bring it out, wear it, honor them, come and have them be a part of the naming ceremony where we lift up the names of folks that have been lost in the cycle of gun violence. And if you've survived, we do have space for some survivors to speak and join us as well.
No, I appreciate the work that you guys do. And I tell you that all the time.
Thank you.
Whenever we have a chance to sit around each other and talk about how we can help, right? We have a ton of people in our community that realize they need the help. And they realize that it's not just one way to do it, right? So, I salute Chester Community Coalition for organizing this walk. And every organization that's in the city that's helping these young men realize who they can be, right? Who they can grow into. You're still growing, right? So I get it, right? You're trying to figure it out. But we're just here to light a path,
That's it.
right? And I was talking to somebody yesterday, and we were talking about the many paths to your dream. And I said, yeah, because I was on about 50 of them. You feel me? I was tripping. But it's more than 50.
It's cool. Nothing is a one-stop shop, and
Nothing.
you have to experience it all to get there.
Right. But when people start to light a path for you and they're telling you, yo, you don't want to do that because I did that. That got me this. This got me that. That got me this. Then you realize, all right, man, if I just walk this path straight, like I'll get to my destination a whole lot quicker. It took me 25 years to get there. Right? And tons of pain and anguish and just upset. So if I would have stayed in school, you feel me, and did what I wanted to do, what I was supposed to be doing, I would have been whoever knows where I would be right now, right? Nobody really knows. So I support y'all for everything that y'all do in the community. Yeah. Anything else?
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Do you feel like if someone had engaged you on spaces to learn a bit more about emotional regulation, that you would have probably had less stops along your route
If I would have
sooner?
if I would have had a Chester Community Coalition when I was younger, I would have ran to it. I was suffering because my father passed away. I was 12. You feel me? And before he died, he told me to take care of his wife and his daughter. So that was already hard enough for a 12-year-old.
Wait, what do you do with that information?
You run to the quickest place you can get money,
And
to the
hustle
street.
up.
You feel me? Like that.
Because they need taken care of.
I had job. Now, I'm not saying they needed taken care of.
But that's your mindset at 12.
Yes, because you told me to do
Yes.
it. You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
there was nothing my father told me to do that I didn't do.
Yeah.
Or he was going to fuck me up. He
Yeah.
wasn't alive anymore, but it was still the fear. You feel me? Like, to the point where I was locked up looking out the window, bro. And I say this all the time. And I'm looking out the window. And when I was a kid, I asked him, could I go outside? And he said, you go outside, you're going to end up upstate with those 3 young men. I'm looking out this window, and all I hear is this voice say, I told you. I said, Sully, what you say? Everybody laughed. He said, bro, I asked him. I said, Sully, what he said? I ain't say nothing.
That wasn't me.
I'm looking out the window, and I'm looking a little deeper. I'm in Graterford. I'm in a jumpsuit, right? I'm looking out the window, and I'm like, yeah. Oh, that's what's. He said, I told you, dumbass. I said, Sully, he said, my Sully stood up. He said, man, nigga, I ain't say nothing. What is you talking about? You all right? I said, damn. That's my dad.
His internal voice that he built within you.
Telling me, I told you, dumbass, look at the 3 kids, and you are right up here upstate with them because you wanted to be outside. I mean, the day after my father died, I was at a carnival. Probably the day we had his funeral, I went to a carnival. Right? I was outside. I was, I'm free. Da, 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 da. What did I end up doing? Wasting. Not really wasting because I learned a lot. That's one thing. I'm not going to call it. It wasn't wasting. It was part of my process. I learned a lot. I learned how to survive because I didn't know. Right? My father wasn't here to teach me, so I had to learn it all on my own. Right? It's kind of like Lion King. You feel me? Father died. You feel me? He goes out there.
Getting it.
He grows up somewhere else. Then he comes back and he's like, yo, I got to do this. I got to do this.
I have to.
That's it. I have to do this. I'm not worried about nobody else and what nobody else does, right? When the radio station started in 2017, how many other organizations was out here doing this work? Yeah. It wasn't a lot of men talking about going to therapy and getting help, bro. I went to therapy. I had my therapist come up here and do a show. Because I said, bro, you helped me. So you got to help somebody else.
Thank you for that.
You feel me? Like, that's what it's about. Like, we got to see it so we can be it. And if the kids can't see a radio station, they don't know they could be a radio station. They don't know that they could be a radio host. They don't know that they can have a podcast. I'm in the school and the kids like, oh, I can have my own podcast? Oh, man, we go. No. We're not going to be talking about the crazy stuff. Now, I get you want to talk about life. We could do that. But, no, you don't have to talk about
where's they at it? Yeah.
Why you got to talk about everybody in your class? Yeah, what's name need deodorant? What's name need to brush his teeth? What's name need? He got earwax in his ears dripping out. Hey, come on. Let's talk about something else.
And it's a distraction. Because what you got going on?
But when you get them talking, when you talk about gun violence, right, and what they owe their community.
I learned the most from the young
These
people.
kids know.
The most.
I'm like, how do you know, but you're okay with it? Like, why are you?
It's their normal. It's their norm.
What am I supposed to do, Uncle P? You're supposed to change it. You're supposed to change it. If you know your friend is doing something, if you know you got a boyfriend and he got a gun on and got a switch on him and he out here beefing with somebody, you got to talk to him. Why don't you go away? They just they can't do that. Send the kids to Job Corps because they just cut that funding.
That's done.
Crazy.
And one of the things that I just wish that people would continue to take away from us as adults, being in these spaces and being very transparent and vulnerable about our own experiences and what it took for everybody to get here, survivor of gun violence, losing your father at a young age and really crashing out until you figured out what it meant for you. You know, myself losing 2 brothers. And I'm just like, we all admit that we didn't have the best advice for ourselves. And so why wouldn't y'all offer a space to your child? Also, our services are free.
Say it again.
Free.
Free 99.
There's a space for you to be able to afford your child a non-judgmental, confidential opportunity to clear their mind and heart from things that you probably know nothing about.
Let's go.
They are able to come in, talk about all their crash out stuff that they don't really want you to know about, talk about wherever they hide all of their ski mask and whatever work and when they about to go bip and whatever other word that I done learned from these kids. And they come in and they share and we're able to brainstorm out loud. I'm not snapping on nobody. I can't. That's not my position. But I want y'all to know that it has nothing to do with the family system is not being attacked by your child being in therapy. And I want to say this very clearly. I know systems have weaponized services for youth and family. This ain't that. If your child is hungry, we're going to get y'all some food. It's not going to be a report anywhere. because there's a reason that they're hungry. Ain't nobody out here just wanting their child to starve.
Come on.
If your child needs some support or we know that they have a weapon, we're not calling the police to your house, right? We're talking about crime prevention, emotional regulation, and being able to build trust with these youth is not going that route. And we've learned a lot by engaging y'all's children. And I'm saying y'all because I don't have any, but we've learned a lot, and we've structured our program around the feedback from them, not the parents, so that we can build that trust and build that rapport. And overall, the goal is to get them in, to get them to understand that this space is confidential, and the only time that we have to tap anybody else in is if they're a danger to themselves or someone else. And it's very rare. Very, very, very rare. In fact, I want to say I've been with the coalition since 2019. I've only had to have a system involved with one of my cases. And right now, I'm the only therapist at the organization besides our interns. We are hiring because we need support to be able to be there and be present. But this is not a weapon. And we've got to put aside, if our kids come in and start talking about the challenges that they're having with us or y'all as parents. We had issues with our parents, and we told somebody, and we talked about it, and we probably still do. What does it matter if it means getting ahead of whatever is happening? Because it could be hard at home, and that could be them like, I'm just going to get this off out in the street. I'm just going to go out here and get my frustrations off. There's a space for that. And they need to be able to have that space, especially if you know that they're not talking to you. And it can't be personal. It is bigger than us. And we can't do it alone. You don't have to do it alone, and you shouldn't do it alone. And neither should these kids. So if there's anything that we can do, or even if you don't know if they'll be comfortable with engaging, because they are old enough to consent to their own services at 14. So if you're a youth and you're watching this, reach out to us. Send your child the flyer. Send your child the website. Reach out. Whatever you need to do to offer some support, because if you haven't tried, then you're not doing everything that you can to save these lives. We need these kids to be here, and right now it's escalating at an alarming rate. And so I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but confidential.
Stand on that soapbox.
No, it's confidential. It's free, and it's a space where they can be themselves. We don't want to see them by the time they get to probation and parole, because that's where most of our referrals are coming from at this point. And I'm not upset, because it is an intervention point, right? There are many entry points to our organization, whether it's probation and parole, a self-referral community, whether it was from our partnership when we had Crozier, or whether it's from outreach in the community. But we want to be able to share with y'all that, again, it's free and it's confidential, and we can help y'all too. I've supported whole families. Whole households can be out there like, yes, that lady, we didn't all seen her at one point or another. And I'm so blessed and so thankful to be able to say that. But for the ones that we're not getting, like, now that Crozier is closed, I'll be sitting home sick, thinking about not being there, because I know the conversations that we've had at the hospital, in the parking lot, not waiting in the family consultation room, because you know they lock those doors, in the parking lot, talking people down from like, if you leave here, whatever is about to happen, you could be next coming back. Like, real live conversation. So I don't know what y'all think it's like to talk to the lady or the therapist, or what you understand about what it means to receive mental health support, but it's what you imagine it to be. And I know that you've talked about that. It's the space that you create. It's scary. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do.
It's scary.
But it's the biggest blessing that can offer you peace.
I had to go in there and admit that I was a dog, that I was a cheater, that I did all this. I had these kids. Feel me? Like,
it's not easy.
It's not easy. I had to go in there and admit who I was portraying to be. Like, man, the therapist looked at me and he didn't judge me.
No.
And that's what made it easier. Oh, you ain't judging? Oh, yeah, because I used to do this, and I used to do that, and I used to smoke this. Oh, I used to put this on my weed. I used to be tripping, bro. I was suicidal and didn't realize it. I was trying to die, but still trying to be here to
hoping that it would just happen to happen.
37. I didn't think I would live past 37. And then 37 hit. And I was like, oh, shit. I'm still here. Yeah, I'm going therapy.
Wasn't planning this.
Right. I was not planning to be here. 37th birthday, I said, yeah, I gotta get some help. And all of that happened. 2017, the radio station was founded, right? going to therapy.
How quickly everything starts to fall in
Bro,
line
'cause
when
it
you
was
just
all-
get in line.
The book was already there. I was already on that page. I wanted to go to Connecticut School of Broadcasting. I was thinking about that, doing that. And me and my ex-wife, we were just back and forth. And I was like, let's go to therapy. Let's go talk to somebody, right? Walked out of that first therapist session with her saying, I'm just co-parenting with you because you're wrong. I don't even want to go back. You feel me? I'm good. All right, cool. We got a foundation there.
Right.
Therapist, I said, I'll be back next week.
I'll see you there.
Brought my book. He told me to get a book, my journal, all that stuff. Brought it in there, and he was like, "Yo, you have a lot of ideas. Why don't you just move on one? Why are you sitting here?" I was like, "Well, I don't know. Like, no. So you got to have more faith in yourself. Let's talk about that. Why don't you have it?" I said, "Because no one ever told me I could do it. Literally,
And you
no."
don't talk about it until you get asked those questions. And you ruminate on these things.
Bro.
You keep thinking about all the things that went wrong or are going wrong, but it's not, you don't dig deep into it until you get those questions that are making you think like,
There are two types of people in the world: the people that tell you can't do something, and the people that tell you can do something. Right? Typically, in our community, it's a whole bunch of you can'ts. You can't do that. You're not big enough. You're not fast enough. You're not strong enough. You can't do that. So people try to prove people wrong.
and they might be the closest people to you.
Pierre, you're a nerd. I ain't no nerd. Fuck you talking about? I ain't no nerd. Look, I'm gonna go over here and break this window. Look, I'm gonna go over here. Oh, look what I did. I just did this.
I feel like you got something to prove.
I got something to prove. Nobody ever said no, Pierre. My family did, but they were supposed to say that, right? My mom, my grandma. You're smart. I wanted people out in the street to say that. No, nobody ever came and told me that. They just said, you're a nerd. And I didn't realize what that nerd connotation meant. I twisted to the other side. Like I'm looking
It felt negative.
I'm looking at the fat, like they call me, they used to
Like
call me
it felt like a slur to you. a
Doofus
little bit.
McQuack, right? Or DuckTales. I'm thinking this fat boy with the glasses. No, nigga, what you talking about? Like I lost weight, bro. You feel me? Like I started running and doing all types of stuff. Stop eating. Because I was trying to live up to something else.
Trying to be accepted.
And what they probably were saying were, you know how to navigate all of these things. You have these abilities to do these things like radio stations that we don't know how to do. You know how to work a computer. You know how to work a switchboard. You know how to go live. Things that we probably don't know how to do. And I'm going to be transparent.
Right.
The therapist has had a therapist, still got one on retainer.
Boy.
I would not be here without the work that I was able to work through with my therapist. If you have experienced a major event in your life or a loss that was earth-shattering, and when I say that, I just mean some complicated grief, like we typically grieve anywhere 3-6 months, a year. There's really no time on it. But if you still can't shake it and it's been a period of time, you might need a space to be able to say what this means, what it caused, what it stopped for you, what it felt like ended, and to be able to process that. And it took me about 10 years. I tried a few times, but it wasn't working. And then somebody was like, "You gotta treat that thing like dating. If you're not feeling it, if the relationship isn't working, move on and try it again.
Try it again.
You're not gonna stop getting your hair cut because your barber messed you up one time. You're gonna find a new one.
Don't let it grow.
You-
Try a new one.
You get your nails messed up, your eyebrows messed up. You're not gonna stop doing those things. You're gonna find you a new one. And so the same goes for therapy. It's a relationship. The same goes for mentors and peer support.
Right.
It's a
It
relationship.
is.
And so you got to be serious and intentional about the people that you have in your life.
Everybody always asks me, why do you feed people when you like? I'm in the school. I got tons of candy. I got a bag of candy because the kids have to come to me and ask for that candy. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how we interact. You feel me? When they come in the room, teacher be like, "Yo, all these kids come in this room and ask you every time, every
a
day,
connecting
every
point.
morning, right? You got an Uncrustable, yeah. What your grades look like?
Okay, entry
For real,
point.
I got a
Entry point.
yeah. Like I'll bring you a whole box of Uncrustables. No, you won't. Yeah, make honor roll and watch me bring it.
I
to
got you.
Right. But see, they're not used to that. So the kids come up to me, "Uncle P, you got money?" I said, "No, but I don't spare any expense with helping y'all." I fed them McDonald's last week, the middle school class, right? They was like, "Yo, you got all this McDonald's for us?" No, expensive, that's expensive. You feel me? Like,
But I
just
want
got
you
paid.
to know it's
But
somebody there to keep their word for you.
I'm gonna keep
that
my
you can turn
word.
to.
I don't care. I'm not gonna break it. I'll ride a bus. I'll ride the bike to get here if I got to. If I ain't got enough for gas money, I'm good. Trust me, I'll be all right. But they realize that, and they understand that, and they like it. So they like, "Yo, Uncle P, you coming back next year?" I said, "I don't know. We'll see."
It's because you care.
Right.
You know, I think that's one thing I noticed from doing the work. Like, they just want you to care. Like, a lot of kids don't necessarily seem to have that or always feel like they have that. You feel me? So, or that outlet to speak freely, like Kyra was saying. You know, working with some kids that I work with is the same thing. Like, the kids just want you to feel like you care for them. Like, or they even to the point where, like, they call and check on you, ask how you doing, what's going on with you. Well,
Because they're thinking about you.
Yeah.
And thinking about the relationship and the space that they're afforded, the honesty that they're afforded.
So I think that's really dope. You know, that's something that we really like. I know that's something I'm really big on, like with working with kids and things like that. Like even to the point where I created a basketball program at the Boys and Girls Club.
Come on.
So I do that. I've been doing that for the last 3 weeks, but
Let's
I'll
go.
do that for the next 6 weeks. Then after that, we're gonna do a boxing program. You know,
Yeah.
just putting kids in
Running
different
that
things.
back.
Right.
We
Like,
did that last year at War Ready with Johnny
um,
Slow.
I used to I grew up in Chester. Like, I'm from the East Side, so that church that burned down, East Side Ministries. I went there. I grew up in that church.
Wow.
So for me, that's how I learned how to maneuver, and I learned a lot of new people. And I had after school programs, and I had things that I can go to that was my outlet for me to be around different people or to meet new faces. And to this day, people still remember me from that. Like, you know, so. That's where something that I feel like is things like that have been missing in the city.
Yes.
Things like that to make you connect with other people and be around people in your neighborhood and know more.
We had places like that. I went there. My grandmother made food for the children there.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I go back to what? This was 80, 85, 86. There
Tell
were
us your age.
people there. I'm 45, right? We've been there for years, right? But we don't have those places anymore.
Yeah.
We don't have those safe spaces anymore where the grandmas are cooking and making sure everything's right, where the next generation mom is making sure the kids are coming in right. Dad's sitting over there making sure the kids coming in right. Yo, what's up with you? What's going on?
Open up, but we're not opening up space. Everybody want to get it from the muscle and say they did it on their own, and the children are suffering.
Everybody.
We're not meant to do it alone. We're not. My neighbors, all the way from the top of the block to the bottom and a few blocks over, where the lights is on, get in front of your house. Where you at? If your mom knew, matter of fact, I'm about to go tell her right now, come on. Yeah, no. And I saw a lot of people talking about that as well, just not being able to curb other people's children anymore. And it's like, why wouldn't you want somebody to speak life into your child?
Because it shows what I'm not doing. See, it's a
But it
reflection.
doesn't.
It does. though.
It does, and it
They
doesn't.
see it as
but
it does.
exactly,
Right.
and so you got to stop making it about you, because we do have some decisions, and your kids are exposed to things outside of your household, regardless.
It's like
Social
coming-
media alone is
It's
exposing
like
them to things.
coming to school and you telling the mom that your daughter's disrespectful. Well, she wouldn't be disrespectful.
Yeah.
Well, you're disrespectful.
It's reflective
So
of your communication.
I get it now. So there's
Right.
no reason. Oh, what you talking about? I'm gonna call my boy. Please call him.
No, yeah, and it makes sense though.
Call him on the phone. Then find out that I know him. Like, bro, what's wrong? Oh man, I got it.
I got it, because that's just how.
Why you acting like that? Because you know. Like, why are you upset?
It is a trickle down effect, but also everything. We've got to remove ourselves, and even if it is about us, even if as the parents they do feel triggered by the fact that behaviors or symptoms are being called out about their child, it's an opportunity for change. You're gonna allow yourself to be defensive and held up by what someone is telling you they've observed, or are you gonna be able to step aside for a moment long enough to have the change actually happen for an opportunity to keep your child alive
Right.
and well? Because alive ain't enough anymore. These kids are not okay.
It's not.
They're struggling. They're witnessing things that we hadn't witnessed. We just talked about that before the show
Experiencing.
came on.
Right. My son.
Losing folks left and right.
I mean, he's 18 now, but we go back maybe 4 years to when Nakis got killed, right? And he lost his friend on Bakir. It's sad because these were his friends. These were the people that he hung around, right? He put himself in the house. He didn't want to come outside. He started eating. He started getting fat. I'm like, nah, like, what you doing? Come on, let's
Feeding
go.
feeding his hunger.
Feeding
and his
his
hunger
fear,
was
bro.
fear. He was hungry to get away from fear.
Yes.
And didn't know what to do
Bro,
with that.
didn't know what to do. So it's sad, but we also have a place where we can talk. We have a therapist like you. We have a youth interventionist like you, right? So it's not like it's not here. We just need people to understand. Like, we're not judging you. We're not condemning you. If your child is dealing with something that's traumatic, it has nothing to do with you as a mom. Nothing to do with you as a father. Nothing to do with mom and dad's relationship, right? If they do bring it up, well, my mom and my dad don't talk, so they give me, that's cool. But we're not judging you. We're trying to help the children.
Navigate that. They need to know how to navigate it.
Bro.
And we got to stop shutting them out thinking they don't understand or they're too young or we're going to leave them out of it because they don't know well enough. Because when you leave them to their own conclusions, they're going to come up with any old thing on how they concluded that the family and the relationships are the way they are. And so, again, giving them space, that's all we want to be able to do.
And at the same time, they know. Like the kids know.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody.
They're
know
not slow.
stuff.
No, they're
Yeah.
not slow.
And not so at all.
Everybody knows what's going. They know what's going on out here. Or, you know, when you go to school or you get on Instagram and they see everything. Like technology, like we always say, is very up to date.
Yes.
You can get on Instagram and see anything.
I
today.
don't like being a part of their
So-
TikTok and Instagram world. I've seen things that I have a tough time recovering from throughout the day after the things that they just post as if it's
Kids.
normal, and it is
Yeah.
normal for them.
Yeah, it is.
It
this
is.
This is what started it all, man.
Yeah.
Like the kids talking crazy, talking
Yeah.
about somebody. They're not even really having a face-to-face beef anymore. It's just when I see you, I'm shooting at you.
Yeah.
But most of our beef is online.
Yeah.
So online bullying is a real thing.
And it's like, you know, I think it's crazy because, like, I'm like I said, for me, I probably started walking into City of Chester when I was like 15 years old because I just started to feel like the need to, like, yo, I got to start, maybe I got to catch an Uber or things like that, or those things start to happen. Because certain kids now, they don't feel safe getting on the bus or waiting for a train or feeling like, because who knows how long I'm going to be out here or what can happen, you know? It's just the safety feelings that's just something that sometimes is neglected, or I feel like needs to be like, kids just need to feel safe in their own neighborhoods or wherever they're coming.
And with that, if you can't put anything else aside, recognize that maybe the kids just don't feel safe right now. And that's it. We want to offer them the space that we've created in hopes of them recognizing what safety looks like for themselves and having access to these things. And
Absolutely.
so you can find us on Facebook at Chester Community Coalition, Instagram at Chester Community Coalition, chestercommunitycoalition.org. All of our contact information is available on the websites. You can call or text. We have some flyers around most of the corner stores in the city with a phone number on it. You can call or text. We're around. We just want to be able to support. If you don't know how we can help, hit us. And if we can, we still gonna plug you with the people that can. It's not a one-stop shop. If it's not us, we'll get you connected. So please, 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 please reach out, even if just out of curiosity. And thank you again for always having us.
Come on, man. I got your back.
Yeah, make sure you at the Peace Walk too.
Right. Make sure you come out to the Peace Walk, man. Let's walk. Let's remember our friends. Let's remember the children that played. Let's get back to the days where we had fun outside and we laughed and we joked and the fire hydrant, open the fire hydrant. That's what I remember
really
when
wish
that
we
was the
could.
biggest thing.
The fire department will be there, but I doubt that they're going to turn the fire hydrant on for us.
Ask them.
We could, because that was the time. I have those
What?
memories.
I remember
We did
those.
it ourselves.
What on 3rd and Jeffrey?
What you gonna do?
Right, what? Nothing.
What you going to do?
To the point where they came and put a hose on the joint, and
Yeah.
they don't do that anymore. They don't. It's nowhere.
And we will have water activities in case
It was a pipe with a couple slits in it to let the water come out. Wasn't wasting a whole bunch of water, right?
And we knew where they were. And we had some eyes on them at all times.
Come on,
We
man.
bring the community.
Let's bring it back.
We bringing it back. It really didn't go anywhere, but we're welcoming it back. We're letting the neighbors know that
Letting
we're
it thrive.
welcoming their community back.
Let's go. Let's go. CMPRadio.net. You already know it's your boy Uncle P, man. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Make sure you go and like and follow Chester Community Coalition on Instagram and Facebook, and make sure you check out their website. Listen, if you have some trauma and you want to talk about it, man, listen, the best way to get through it is to get on it, right? That's the best way, right? You can't heal what you don't reveal. It's CMPRadio.net. It's your boy Uncle P. Peace.